Hi, welcome to Roy's Game Table. Today we have Game 3 of Expert Klaw with the Hydra Assault set against Hawkeye. So pull up a chair and let's finish this. You may be wondering why I'm calling this Game 3. And if you watched a video that I put out a couple of days ago, I did 2 games in 1 in that video because I lost the first game embarrassingly. I should not have lost that game, but I made a bonehead decision, I think, and it cost me the game. So I immediately played another game in that same video and I won it. And I just decided I'm 1-1 against Expert Klaw with a Hydra Assault set with Hawkeye, so I figured why not make it a best of 3 and just finish this thing off. And so that's what this video is, to decide who's going to win the best of 3 between Hawkeye and Klaw. But this time it is something different. I have Hawkeye in aggression. So this is the first time I've actually played Hawkeye in aggression, so I don't know how well I'm going to do, but I'm going to do well enough to win this. So I've got everything set up. Here's the minion that came into play. It was the first card on top. I've got him at 28 hit points. The side schemes are right. And I've drawn my opening hand. I think I'm going to keep my explosive arrow and energy. And I'll keep Yarnborn, but I'm going to discard everything else. Actually, I'm going to discard Yarnborn too, because I really want to try to dig for my quiver. So I'm going to do that, but I'm going to keep these 2 in case I need them and draw back up to 6. So 1, 2, there it is, 4, 5, 6. All right, good. So I do have my quiver. So the first thing I'm going to do is spend a resource, and I will spend this mean swing, I guess, to get his bow. All right, so there's his bow right there. I'm going to go ahead and put that into play, and I'm going to shuffle his deck. Okay, the deck's been reshuffled. The first thing I'm going to do is put his quiver in to play. And I think I'll do it with the explosive arrow. And then I'm going to flip to Hawkeye so that I can use his quiver, because it is a hero action. I can use his quiver to look at the top 5 cards and see if I can't get an arrow event. So there's a sonic arrow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I want to take the cable arrow. So I'll do that. And I'll shuffle his deck back. Okay, and then I'm going to put Valkyrie into play using Power of Aggression and Energy. And because I used energy resource to pay for her, she'll come in and do 3 damage to a minion. And that's going to be this Flame Soldier. So I'm going to drop her into 1. And then she will attack him to remove him from the game. So she will drop from 3 to 2. And unfortunately, I can't pay for this cable arrow, but I'm going to have Hawkeye, I think, thwart for 1 actually, off of this defense network to drop it down to 2. And I will ready and draw back up to 5. Okay, so start of the main villain phase, we go from 0 up to 2 because I have the Mortal Claw still into play. And he's going to attack. I got the wrong one on top here. Let's put the correct. I had number 1 on top. Now number 2 is on top and everything's right. Sorry about that. I'm just going to have Hawkeye take it because I don't want to lose Valkyrie yet. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 damage. Dropping him from 9 to 5. And then the encounter card will be Assault. And I was afraid that was going to happen. He's not going to take this one. I'm just going to have Valkyrie do it. I didn't want this to happen, but it did. So he's going to take it, or she's going to take it for 1, 2, and we put the weapons runner into play. So she just takes 2 damage, but that's enough to remove her from the game. And this weapon runner will not attack this turn because he came out during the encounter phase. The encounter card let him attack with the assault, and he came out as a boost. So he will not surge, but he will come in with 2 hit points, and we are back to Hawkeye. The first thing I'm going to do is use his quiver to try to find an arrow. All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and none of those are arrows. So I won't be able to get that. Let me shuffle those back in. And as I said in the previous video I did, you do shuffle the cards back into the deck. You don't put them back in top in the order that they came out. They used to do that, then they changed the ruling and made it an errata or whatever. So you do have to shuffle those cards back in. I'm going to do that real quick. All right, so I have reshuffled his deck, and I think what I want to do is I'm going to exhaust his bow and spin Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the resource, so I can use Cable Arrow to remove 3 threat from a scheme, and I can ignore a crisis icon, but I'm actually going to remove this Immortal Klaw, and that's going to drop him down to 18 because the Immortal Klaw is out of the game. And then I'm going to exhaust Hawkeye to ready his bow. And then I'm going to use his bow because I want to use a sonic arrow. I'm going to pay for it with strength. And that is going to confuse an enemy and deal 3 damage. I'm going to confuse Klaw and deal 3 damage to him, dropping him from 18 to 15. And unfortunately, I can't do my explosive arrow to get rid of this weapons runner. I know he's going to scheme, but I'm willing to take that chance because I'm going to flip to Clint Barton and hopefully heal next turn. And I will ready and draw to 6. Okay, so start of the main villain phase, we're going to put 1 on, so it goes from 2 up to 3. He's confused, so he will not scheme, but the weapons runner will scheme, so it's going to go from 3 to 4, and then the encounter card will be Hydra Jet Trooper. It's a quick strike, but I'm an alter ego, so he's not a quick strike, but he does come in with 3 health, and we are back to Clint Barton, and I think the first thing I'm going to do is heal from 5 back up to 8, just to make sure I got plenty of hit points, because I still don't have a ally to help me. And then I will flip to Hawkeye, and first thing is use the quiver to search for a card, or search for an arrow event. So there's a Cable Arrow, Spiral Girl, 3, 4, 5. Okay, well I guess I'll take the Cable Arrow. It's the only one there. Let me shuffle these cards back in. Okay, and I'm going to exhaust Hawkeye's bow. Well, actually, the first thing I'm going to do, is put in the Expert Marksman using Earth's Mightiest Hero to pay for it. And then I'm going to exhaust Hawkeye's bow because I'm going to do an explosive arrow and use Expert Marksman to pay for it. And that's going to deal 3 damage to the villain each minion engaged with that player. So drop him from 15 to 12. And then it will, through 3 damage, will take out both of these minions. So that's nice. I think for now, I'm going to actually discard Combat Training and Vibranium Arrow just to see what I can get, maybe an ally or something to help me. And I'll keep my Sonic Arrow, and I will ready and draw to 5. Okay, so start of the main phase, it goes from 4 up to 5 out of 6. He is going to attack, and I'm going to have Hawkeye defend it, even though he only has 1 defense. I got to do it in case he gets attacked twice. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. -1 is 3, so it drops him from 8 to 5. And then let's hope this isn't an attack. It is Klaw's Vengeance. It is an attack, and this is the one that beat me in the first game. So Klaw's attacks you. If this attack deals damage, place 1 threat on the main scheme. All right, well, there's nothing I can do about it. So it's 1, but he's got 5 hit points. 1, 2, 3, and the weapons runner comes into play. Well, I was getting nervous, but he only takes 3 damage, dropping him from 5 to 2. And unfortunately, that does deal damage, so place 1 threat on the main scheme. That's going to be enough to advance the scheme. So I got to discard cards until I get a minion. By the way, this weapons runner, again, does not surge because he did the boost. You just put him into play. So discard cards until I get a minion and put that minion into play. And here we go. We're doing that. I'm trying to find a minion. It's an armored guard. That's not cool, but it's better than Hawkeye dying right here. So the armored guard will come in with tough and 3 hit points, and we will move to Secret Rendezvous, and we will go back to Hawkeye. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is exhaust his quiver to find an arrow. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. None of them are arrows, so I won't put any of them on the quiver, and I'll shuffle this back up. Okay, well, I really would like to use my Sonic Arrow, but I can't hit Klaw with it because I have a guard in play, and it is an attack. So instead what I'll do is put Mockingbird into play. I think, with Lockjaw, Queen Carrier, and the Power of Aggression. Hold on to this Sonic Arrow because I really want to use it at some point. She'll come in with 3 health, and she is actually going to attack the weapons runner over there to knock him out of the game because he does scheme. I'm going to be flipping to Clint Barton, so he does scheme for 1, so he's out of the game, and hopefully we won't get in advance and I won't lose. But I've got to, even though I have Mockingbird, I learned from my first game that when he's got low on hit points and you only got 1 ally, don't stay there. So I'm going to flip to Clint Barton, ready, and draw to 6. Okay, so the start of the main phase, 1 threat here on Secret Rendezvous. He's going to scheme for 2, 3, 4, so that's going to go up to 5 out of 8. And the Armored Guard does not scheme, and the encounter card is Gang Up, so it's going to surge because I'm an alter ego. And the replacement is Sonic Converter. You just attach it to Klaw, it gets +1 attack, and then when he damages a character, you stun that character. All right, so we're back to Clint Barton, and I'm going to heal him from 2 up to 5. All right, and then I'm going to put Endurance into play, I think over here. And I'm going to put spend Hulk to pay for that. So that's going to bring him from 5 up to 8. And his max hit points are now 12. Then I'll go ahead and flip him to Hawkeye, exhaust his quiver to see what we can get. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. The only one I got was this electric arrow. So I'll put it on his quiver and shuffle the other ones back in. Okay. And then I'm going to exhaust Hawkeye's bow, and because I'm going to be using his cable arrow from his quiver and expert marksman to pay for it, so I can remove 3 threat from his scheme, and I can ignore crisis icons in play. So I am going to do that, dropping it from 5 down to 2. All right, and then I'm going to put Spider Girl into play with Genius, and when she comes in, I can stun and confuse a minion. So I will stun the Armored Guard and confuse him. And she'll come in with 2. And I'm going to have, I think I'll have Mockingbird thwart for 2 to get rid of this defense network, just so I can have it out of the way. And then I'll have her attack the guard to remove the tough. And I'll hold on to my Sonic Arrow and my Electric Arrow. Even though I've got an Electric Arrow, that's still how I'm going to do it. So I'll ready everybody and draw to 5. Okay, so this is going to go from 2 up to 3. And he's going to attack. He will attack for at least 2. And I'm going to spend the She-Hulk resource here to before he initiates the attack to put Mockingbird back into my hand and to prevent all damage from the attack. So Hawkeye is going to take it. So it doesn't matter what the damage is. It's 2, nothing. There's an advance though. And then if you're in hero form, the villain attacks you after this activation. Do not deal any boost cards for that attack. All right. Well, so he doesn't take any damage from that. But now the villain's going to attack him, and if he takes damage, which he will, he's going to be stunned. So I guess I'll just go ahead. I'm going to, well, I can't afford, let me think about what I want to do. Okay, I don't want Hawkeye to be stunned, so Spider-Girl is going to take this attack, and that's going to knock her out of the game. He does have 8 health, so I'm not real worried. This guard is stunned, and the encounter card will be Sonic Boom. So either spend those resources or exhaust each character you control, so it doesn't matter. Hawkeye is going to be exhausted anyway. And that's unfortunate. And we are back to Hawkeye. Okay, the first thing I need to do is let's see if I can get an arrow event. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. None of them are arrow events. All right, I think the best thing to do for me is put Mockingbird in with Hall of Heroes, Electric Arrow, and Sonic Arrow. And she'll come in with 3. I'm going to have her exhaust to thwart for 2 on the main scheme to bring it back down to 1. And that's going to be it. I will ready and draw to 5. Okay, so start of the main villain phase. We put 1 threat here on the main scheme. he's going to attack. And I don't want to lose Mockingbird yet, and I have Nick Fury here. And I think the best thing to do is I'm going to spend a resource. I'll spend the mean swing to, because he's going to initiate attack to put Mockingbird back into my hand. And that's going to prevent all damage from the attack. It's 2. If this card resolves during an undefended attack, discard support, which I don't have. So 2 still. And same thing. So just 2 damage. He doesn't take any damage, so he won't be stunned. The armored guard will attack, though, dropping him from 8 to 7. And then the encounter card will be advance. So let's see what happens. He schemes for 2, 3, 4. That brings it up from 2 to 6. So we got 6 out of 8, and we are back to Hawkeye. And I think the first thing I'm going to do with Hawkeye is attack for 3 to finally go ahead and just get rid of this armored guard so I can do something to Klaw. And I'm going to exhaust the quiver, but I don't think this is arrow. No, it isn't. It's brawn. So that just goes back. Then I think I will finally use his electric arrow, exhaust Hawkeye's bow, expert marksman for 1, and then the other one for 2. So it's going to deal 3 damage to him, dropping him from 12 to 9, and it's also going to stun him. And then I'm going to put Mockingbird back into play with the other 3 resources I have. And she'll come in with 3, and she's going to thwart for 2 to drop this from 5, or drop this from 6 back down to 4. And that's going to be it. I'm going to ready and draw back up to 5, which I'll have to deal an encounter card, but I think I'm done with all the advances for now. I don't think it's going to advance. So hopefully I can survive one more turn as Hawkeye. So I'm going to shuffle my deck and finish drawing back up to 5, and then we'll move to the villain turn. Okay, so start of the villain phase, it goes from 4 up to 5. He can't attack because he is stunned, and he will have to deal with 2 encounter cards, but fortunately, it won't run out yet unless he gets an attack or something that makes me draw that boost. We'll see what happens. This first one is a guard. So the guard's going to come in with tough and 3 hit points, and then the other encounter card is another guard. So nothing added to the scheme, but we do have 2 guards we have to chew through, but we'll get to them. We'll take care of them at some point, and we are back to Hawkeye. The first thing I'll do is exhaust his quiver to see if I can get an arrow event, and let's see, 3, 4, 5. Again, I don't get an arrow event, so I'll shuffle those cards back in. Okay, I'm going to put Spider Girl in with strength, and when she comes into play, she can stun and confuse a minion, so I'm going to stun and confuse this armored guard, and then I'm going to have her attack to remove the tough off this other armored guard. Hawkeye's going to attack for 3 to get rid of this armored guard. And then Mockingbird will thwart for 2 to drop this from 5 back down to 3. And then I am going to have to heal at some point, so I'm going to put downtime in with Brawn. Hold on to my Sonic Arrow and hopefully get to use it next turn. We'll see what happens. But that's going to be it. That's all I can do. I'm going to ready and draw back up to 5. Okay, so the start of the main villain phase, we're going to put 1 more back on. It's come up to 4. He is going to attack this time, and I'm going to spend Lockjaw to put Mockingbird back into my hand. And so it's going to prevent all the damage from the attack. And he only gets to draw 1 boost because there's only 1 boost in there. And that's just how that works. I've seen that before, so I know I've seen the designers play it that way anyway. When there's 1 card left with Klaw, you only get the 1 boost, so it's 2. If this activation deals damage, you exhaust your hero. It does not. So he does not take any damage, but it will get an acceleration token, and let me reshuffle the deck. Been reshuffled. The minion here won't attack because he's stunned and confused. And the encounter card will be Legal Arms Factory. So it's going to come in to play with 4 threat on it. And then we will go back to Hawkeye. First thing I'm going to do at Hawkeye is try to find an arrow event. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I did. So I'm going to put the cable arrow on his quiver, shuffle the other 4 cards back in. I am going to exhaust Hawkeye's bow and use the expert marksman to use cable arrow to remove 3 threat from his scheme, which will be the illegal arms factory. I will put Mockingbird back into play with Earth's Mightiest Hero, Yarnbjorn, and Sonic Arrow, because at some point I gotta get rid of this guard, and I think the best way to do it is a vibranium arrow, but not this turn. So she'll come in with 3. Spider Girl will thwart for 1, which will knock her out of the game, but she's going to do it to get rid of the illegal arms factory. And then Mockingbird will thwart for 2. Hawkeye for 1 for a total of 3 to drop the main scheme back down to 1 because it was getting dangerously close to going off. And that's going to be it. I'll stay Hawkeye 1 more turn and then ready and draw up to 5. Okay, start of the main phase. This goes from 1 up to 3 because the acceleration token, he's going to attack. I'm going to spend a mean swing to put Mockingbird back into my hand to prevent all damage from the attack. It's 2, nothing, and nothing. So just 2 damage, but it's all been prevented. But the guard will hit him for 1 down to 6. And the encounter card will be Sonic Boom. Either spend those resources or exhaust each character you control. And I just don't want to exhaust characters I control. This is getting out of hand here. It's getting rough. I keep having to exhaust my characters. So I'm going to exhaust Hawkeye. And we are back to Hawkeye. First thing I'm going to do is do the quiver to see if I can't get something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have an explosive arrow and a vibranium. 2 explosive arrows and a vibranium. I think I'm going to put the explosive arrow in actually, because I have a vibranium here, and I'll shuffle the other ones back into the deck. And once again, I'll put Mockingbird into play, but I'm going to do it with the expert marksman, Valkyrie, and vibranium. And she'll come in with 3. And then I'm going to use her to attack to remove the tough off of this armored guard, and this card came back. So I put that card back. And now I'm going to exhaust Hawkeye's bow and use expert marksman to pay for explosive arrow, deal 3 damage to the villain and each minion engaged with you. So finally this armored guard is gone. And we'll deal 3 damage to Klaw, dropping him finally into 9 to 6 and doing damage to him again at long last. And hold on to Sonic Arrow, and we'll ready and draw up to 5. Okay, so the scheme's going to go from 3 up to 5. And once again, I think I'll use Mockingbird to prevent damage. So I'm going to spend an explosive arrow to pay for that and put her back into my hand. And so he's going to attack for 2. I don't have any support cards. If it's undefended, I have to discard a support card, but I don't know. They're all upgrades. So it's still 2, 3, 4. He takes no damage from the attack, so he will not be stunned. And the encounter card is Master Plan. So I'm going to discard cards until I get a side scheme. And I know there's one in there, and there is one, Defense Network. And it's going to come into play with 3 on it. And we are back to Hawkeye. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is use the quiver to see if I can't find a card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's an electric arrow, so that will go under Hawkeye's quiver. I'll shuffle the rest back into his deck. Okay, and this time I'm going to exhaust his bow and use expert marksman to pay for cable arrow, remove 3 threat from his scheme, ignore any crisis icons. I'm going to remove it from the main scheme, dropping it from 5 down to 2, because I can ignore the defense network on that. And then I'm going to exhaust Hawkeye to ready his bow, and then use his bow to do a sonic arrow using electric arrow and Hall of Heroes. So that is going to confuse Klaw and deal 3 damage to him. He's going from 6 down to 3. And finally, I can flip to Clint Barton, and hopefully I won't lose. I shouldn't, because there's only 2 out of 8 and he's confused, but I'm not going to worry about it. That's what I need to do. So I'm going to ready and draw to 6. Okay, so starting the main phase, it goes from 2 up to 4. So let's see here. So 4 on the main scheme, and then he's supposed to keep scheme, but he's confused. And then the encounter card will be Hydra. So I know there's some Hydra minions in here, Flame Soldiers. I'm going to put them in play and put one of them in play. It does say to shuffle my deck, so I'm going to shuffle this, and we'll go right back to Clint Barton. All right, and as Clint, I'm going to first of all heal for 5 because I do have the +2 on recovery, and that's going to bring him up to 11, from 6 to 11. And then I'm going to go right ahead and flip to Hawkeye, exhaust his quiver to see if I can find a card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No arrows once again, so I will shuffle those back in. All right, and then I'm going to put Mockingbird back into play again with Power Aggression, Battle Fury, and Hulk. And so that will bring her in with 3 hit points. I'm going to have her thwart for 2 on Defense Network to drop it down to 1. And then I'm going to use Hawkeye's bow. And because I'm going to do an electric arrow for 1 for Expert Marksman, 2 with Quinn Carrier for 2. So that is going to stun Klaw and deal 3 damage to him, and that is going to be enough to drop him on to 0 on this side. So he will advance to his side 3, and when he comes in on side 3, he comes in with a tough and 22 hit points. So we'll put him back up to 22. And I think that's all I can do. So I'm going to ready and draw. Put my electric arrow here and draw up to 5. Okay, so starting the main phase, it goes from 4 to 6 out of 8. And Klaw is stunned, so he won't attack, but the Hydra Flame Soldier will. And I'll just have, well, let's make sure I don't have any supports out. No, I don't. So he'll just take it, dropping him to 10. And then the encounter cards, please don't be advanced. And it's not good. I'll take Assault. So he's going to attack. And I will spend the Power of Aggression to put Mockingbird back into my hand to prevent the damage. So it's going to be 3. If you are in hero form, the villain attacks you after this activation. Do not deal any boost cards for that attack. So 3, 4. Well, that attack gets prevented. But now I got to be attacked again without using boost cards. It's going to be 3, and there's nothing. I'm not going to defend. So it's going to drop him from 10 to 7. And he is stunned because he was attacked and damaged. So that's unfortunate. I thought I was going to make that out scot-free to start doing some damage, but I didn't. But we are, at least the scheme didn't go off, and we are back to Hawkeye. Let's see what I can do. The first thing will be to do his quiver and to see if we can get an arrow. And there's vibranium arrow. So we'll attach that, and I'll shuffle the rest of these back into his deck. Okay, so the deck has been reshuffled, and before I forget, I'm going to attack with Hawkeye to remove the stun so that I can use my vibranium arrow, and I will go ahead and use his arrow. So I'll exhaust Hawkeye's bow, and I'm going to use the arrow, and Expert Marksman for 1, to the rescue for 2, and it has piercing, so I'm going to remove the tough, deal 6 damage to Klaw because he does not have guard, so that's going to go from 22 to 16. And then the vibranium arrow comes out. And then I'm going to put in Nick Fury with Genius and Energy and hold on to Mockingbird. When Nick Fury comes in, I'm going to use his ability to do 2 thwart to get rid of Defense Network. And then I'm going to let him thwart for 2, which will drop him to 2 and take this from 6 back down to 4. And hopefully that'll be good enough. I mean, it's going to go back up to 6. But that's the best I think I can do this turn. So we're going to ready and draw back up to 5. Okay, so the main scheme goes from 4 back to 6. And he will attack this time, but Nick Fury is going to take it. So it's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's Shadow of the Past. That's good. So he'll take that. And I'm just going to have Hawkeye take the damage from the Hydra Soldier down to 6. He only has upgrades, so he won't have to discard a support. And this card will be another Flame Soldier. Good. So it wasn't. That's good because it wasn't an advance. And I got a chance to get some more threat off here, I guess. We'll see. But we are done. And we are back to Hawkeye. And I'm going to use his quiver to see what this is. And it is not a arrow event, so I can't do that. Okay, I'm going to put Mockingbird back into play with She-Hulk, martial prowess, and combat training. And then she'll come in with 3. She's going to thwart for 2 on the main scheme, dropping it from 6 back down to 4. You're just playing volleyball over here with the main scheme. You know, tinkering with a loss over here. 4 out of 8 is going to go to 6 out of 8, but it's the best I can do. But I don't have any arrows to shoot, but I do have a mean swing and I do have a weapon. So I'm going to attack. So when your hero makes a basic attack, exhaust a weapon upgrade on your hero gets +3 attack. So I'm going to attack for 3, exhaust the bow to add mean swing, attack for 6 onto Klaw, dropping him from 16 to 10. So I almost got him. I'm getting very close. I've got to survive a round or 2. And but I'm going to have 2 encounter cards to deal with. I got 2 minions that are going to be attacking me. I can prevent this attack with Mockingbird, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to ready and draw to 5, and obviously I won't have enough, so I'll deal myself the encounter card, shuffle the deck, draw back up, and then we'll go to the main villain phase. Okay, start the main villain phase. We go from 4 back up to 6. Keep going back and forth on that. He'll attack. I will spend a resource, I guess Queen Carrier, to put Mockingbird in my hand to prevent the attack. It's going to be 3. If this attack deals damage, exhaust your hero, but it won't. 3. And put this stupid weapons runner into play, but he won't surge. So he doesn't take any damage, so he doesn't get stunned, he doesn't get exhausted. The weapons runner is going to attack. Actually, they're all going to attack now. I'll just take it from 6 to 3. And the reason why I'm going to take it is because I do have a mean swing that I can do 6 more damage to drop him down to 4 and maybe win on a future turn, but I might not survive. But we'll see what happens. So 2 encounter cards to deal with. The first is a weapons runner, and that's going to surge into Under Fire. So reveal the top card in the encounter deck, which is Criminal Past. I'm going to flip and exhaust to get rid of that. That was just the reveal. It's going to surge into Armored Guards, and now I can't hit anybody. I got 5 minions out and still 1 more encounter card. And the encounter card is Advance. What do you, I mean, I should have expected it. Get 1,000,000 minions out and he advances anyway. It's 6 out of 8. He schemes for 3. It's over. 3. It doesn't matter what the boost is. He would attack after the activation, but it's going to bring it from 6 to 9. And that's going to do it. Well, oh man, that was my first game with Hawkeye Aggression with a deck that I built, first game ever. And I thought I actually had a chance to win. Well, I did have a chance to win. There was 10 health left on Klaw, but it was a lot harder in Aggression than I thought it was going to be. I probably should have done Leadership and I would have won again. But, you know, Leadership's a little bit easier to win in solo, in my opinion, than Aggression. So I just wanted to try something different. And it didn't work out for me. It really came hard there, especially right there in the end. I just didn't have a chance. I didn't even get another opportunity. Not that it would have mattered. I had a guard here that would have kept me from hitting Klaw. So that's what it is. So he wins the best of 3, and that's Hawkeye Aggression versus Expert Klaw. I hope you enjoyed the game. If you did, please consider to like and subscribe. And make sure you hit the notification bell for any future videos I have coming out. And until that time, I'll save you a seat at the table.